So, it's been a while since I've done a vlog like this or been on camera like this in a while. Yeah, so I was sick for a few weeks, unfortunately. So, yeah, I wasn't feeling well. But right after that, then I had an allergic reaction to the sickness. uh, but soon after I was sick, or as I was getting over being sick, I did meet voice actor, excuse me, voice actor Billy West at a convention, so that was fun, good times. And also, I did get to go to this electric vehicle expo as press. I applied as media press and I got accepted, so I went. And the two videos for that are up now, so please go check them out. So anyway, for today's video, I really do wish it was under better and more cheerful circumstances. Um, but that's not really the case today, sadly. So yeah, I've been seeing on the internet through internet and pop culture news this whole situation with Emiru, uh, Twitch streamer and YouTuber Emiru. It's two situations now, quite unfortunately. So I'm gonna go over briefly what happened in both situations because I think most people are aware of them by now. And if you're not, I'll briefly go over what happened and then I'll share my thoughts about the whole thing. There's so much to unpack. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, so the first situation, it only happened a couple of weeks ago. I think it was the weekend of October 18th, where TwitchCon happened. TwitchCon in California. So Emiru, it's known that she's been a TwitchCon veteran. She's been going for years, and from what I understood, so she was at her meet and greet during that convention, and doing her thing. Everything is normal, but quite unfortunately, it became clear that the security at TwitchCon was quite lacking. And so this was very opportune for a creeper or stalker to go ahead and do something. And so that's exactly what happened. A creeper slash stalker, from what I understand, moved ahead of the line of Emiru's meet and greet. And he found a very specific time, a very specific opportunity where there would be a gap in security where he could find his, where he could catch his opportunity to make his move on Emiru. And so that's basically what he did. He approached her and grabbed her, like on both shoulders, and she explained the whole situation from her point of view in one of her latest streams. So I did watch that. Excuse me. I did watch that, and she said what was going through her head was she thought that maybe it was one of the associates or personnel from TwitchCon that wanted to lean in and tell her something in private. But that wasn't the case. He grabbed her pretty aggressively and then went in for a kiss right on her lips. It seems that she fought him off and resisted as hard as she could, so it seems that he didn't land the kiss. But even still, his intent was very clear, and no TwitchCon security were around her as this was happening. That makes it even more disturbing. And one of her own personal security thankfully came in to save the day, and so he pushed him away. So that footage, one of her fans from her line, like in her line, captured that video footage and uploaded it on social media for everyone to see. So if you haven't seen it, you can check it out at your own discretion. yeah, so it became very public, and it became that incident. It became viral news very rapidly. So Emiru is lucky in how she has so much security and support uh, overall, and she was explaining how if it wasn't for the fact that she was a big creator, like a big content creator, that wouldn't have happened, or it wouldn't have necessarily happened. And if it were to happen to a smaller creator that can't afford this level of security and support, or even just a lawyer, then they would have had very, very little to back them, like to back up their case should such an incident happen to them. And realistically, it probably has happened to them at TwitchCon and other venues, like to smaller creators, things like this, similar incidents of sexual assault, groping, misconduct, etc. It probably has happened. That's the more disturbing part that Emiru rightfully highlighted to bring attention to all of us. So, one thing that really rubbed me the wrong way in the aftermath of this that I wanted to share was that a lot of people on the internet, once they got the news, received this news of this incident that happened to Emiru, they started gaslighting her as if she was playing the victim. So to say that she was the one doing something wrong and instigating this or instigating something. Well, what can I say? I mean, go and watch that video footage uploaded on Twitter and wherever else it might be, of that stalker going to her and doing that thing. Like, if that isn't obvious enough what happened, then I really don't know what to tell you. Like, you are beyond reasoning. You've deluded yourself into a whole different plane of reality. So, but the greater point is the fact that she was gaslighted. Folks, I wish everything I had to say from here will be better, but it's not. So this just showed me that our society as a whole really has dived into a whole new level of low, where things like gaslighting, misogyny, parasocial relationships, and victim blaming is still very relevant and rampant today, which is quite sad. And the whole concept of parasocial relationships, which I just mentioned. So what that guy did, I think his mentality was that he definitely falls under the umbrella of that concept. I think he looked at Emiru as if he was in this parasocial relationship with her, and so he felt entitled to do what he did. Now, I once or twice, I was on the receiving end of experiencing a parasocial relationship. That was unfortunate, but that's a whole other story of itself, maybe for another time. But yeah, so that is a thing. That is definitely a thing that I want to bring attention to. And just the fact that she was victim blamed, or if I'm saying that right, that she was accused of victimizing herself. And so that goes along with victim blaming. Again, like, come on. Either you're not paying attention, you're in denial. The evidence, it's there. You just have to look at it. It's pretty clear what happened. So she goes at length to explain the aftermath, you know, the whole thing with TwitchCon and Twitch. It became a huge fiasco after that. I heard like like a global head of Amazon, I think, was flown over the next day to meet with her to discuss further steps that will be taken, and that TwitchCon will tighten up their security. Well, too little, too late, don't you think? Um, of course, she said this will be her last year going to that. You know, so just all this madness and fiasco with TwitchCon in general and Twitch, like how irresponsible they were. They didn't provide the real safety and security that she and other creators really needed. And that's been a thing now for years. And she did also mention how, after talking with her manager at length, who it sounds like she stepped up to the plate and fought for Emiru, defended her case, and if it wasn't for that, she wouldn't have been taken care of as well as she was. And so she did decide she will press charges towards the person that assaulted her. So good on her. Hopefully, we can only hope that something will come out of that. So originally I thought this would be the only, you know, topic I would be talking about today on this vlog. But it's not. Unfortunately, it's not. Emiru brought up yet another very unfortunate and much darker situation that's been an ongoing situation with her for years that she brought to light recently. So last Saturday, she decided to finally reveal of this toxic relationship that she was going through with a fellow creator. I don't really know him, but everything I've now heard about him and watching just a few clips of him to get an idea about what he's like, it's just mind-blowing. So this fellow creator that she was in a relationship with and living with too, his name is Mizkif. So the way she explained it, she met him and he kind of steered her into thinking that he can provide her safety and security. Yeah, so he misled her into believing that he can provide some airtight safety and security to her. And she believed him. That's the first of many sad things in all of this. Hearing this story, I was so sad and angry. Also because in my own personal life, I gotta say, me along with another friend of mine, a close friend of mine, we've had to deal with, in recent times, we had to deal with a very toxic friendship where someone we genuinely thought we could trust and have good faith in, he betrayed us. Mainly my other close friend, he got it the worst, where he was on the biggest receiving end of being betrayed and backstabbed. And with me, indirectly, I think that's fair to say, indirectly, I was intertwined in that. So, well, that's a whole nother story, maybe for another time, if I get to making that video. But anyway, between that personal situation and then hearing how this has been going on with Emiru for so long, so that was disheartening to hear. Because after everything I heard, like all the abuse and gaslighting and psychological abuse that he put her through, I could interpret it that he betrayed her as well. just, you know, in a different way, different circumstances. They were in a romantic relationship. But betrayal is still betrayal, no matter which way you spin it. Doesn't matter what the situation is or the circumstance. It is what it is. So, well, she goes at length, you know. So she did another stream quite recently at the time of this recording, explaining this, you know, this big reveal. Only a few, very few of her close creator friends, they slowly became aware. Like, she really wouldn't tell anyone what was going on. Like, he would be punching walls if he was mad at her, punching holes in walls, throwing temper tantrums at her, like throwing his water bottles at her, and then even throwing his cell phone at her, and her getting a black eye from that one time. Like, man, I think this guy, at bare minimum, it sounds like he needs to go to anger management therapy, you know. And then his big plan, so to speak, was he was gonna frame her that, oh, she is perpetuating animal cruelty by purposely killing her rabbits. Like, really, man? That's your best defense? Really? Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, he would gaslight her, guilt her, everything I've heard, constantly guilting her and shaming her. And when things weren't going his way, like, he would get like lesser viewership than her on his streams, and then he would get mad at her and blame her and their community of creators, like how their community is not serving him. Yeah. So plenty to unpack. Like, I watched a video of Asmongold sharing his side of this and how he eventually got intertwined in all of this. So he, you know, he had some hand in all of this, trying to help out Emiru along with her other creator friends and community, the very close ones that were aware, that they became aware of this overall situation. So yeah, I mean, really sad, and just an all-around toxic situation she went through. Having to live in fear like that, you know, like, she would mention how sometimes she was going to a friend's house and like then like taking a nap or something in that friend's living room. I think she said she would have to go through, like, when she would sit in his car and he would be driving, like, he would go into this road rage, like driving 150 miles per hour in road rage because he found out that Mr. Beast chose some streamer to be a guest on his channel or whatever, and Mr. Beast didn't pick him. I shouldn't be laughing. This is really horrible. I shouldn't be laughing, but wow. So it just kind of perplexes me why she didn't, like, bring this more to the spotlight much sooner. You know, bring more attention to this much sooner. But she was afraid. That's the part that's the biggest shame. She was just afraid to do that because she thought she might face backlash or something. And maybe he had some kind of dirt on her. Well, so far, what we've seen, that dirt that he has on her doesn't seem all that strong. But maybe she was afraid, nonetheless, you know, that she would receive a backlash. You know, like raising too much drama on the internet, something like that. So in that point of view, I can kind of see what she means or what she was getting at. But at the same time, I mean, this went to such great length that I just wish she would have said something sooner. That's all. Fortunately, now she finally, I'm guessing after her TwitchCon incident, she decided like she needs to finally say something. And apparently, even Ms. Kiff was bothering her like at TwitchCon. Like he sent some really twisted and malicious message, I guess a text message to one of her friends, like threatening her. And everything she said during her reveal stream, that wasn't the first time that he did something like that. There were other times where he threatened her, like I'll ruin your life if you do this, or and constantly bugging her, especially after they did break up. Just the constant bothering her and harassing her over messages. Yeah, so that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack. Just mentally, I can only imagine the kind of weight that she was feeling, and the mental stress that really must have put on her. I can only imagine. Of course, I had no idea. None of us knew. Most of us, we didn't know this was going on. So she really does know how to kind of put on her game face, if you will, while on camera and everything else. Yeah, like she's a good performer in that way. But nonetheless, I mean, I just wish she had spoke up sooner. Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, he sounds like an incredibly awful human, incredibly awful person. Like, as I sat and watched her reveal stream, most of the time I was watching like petrified in horror by everything I was hearing. Petrified. It was just so unbelievable. Yes, there have been other stories of abuse and gaslighting similar to this, but something about this one really struck me. It was just like on another level, to be honest. So I guess the silver lining in all this is it was finally brought to light, and more awareness can be raised now. And not just for female creators that have gone through something like this or going through something like this. Even for male creators too, that went through something like this or going through something like this. We are all equal. Just for the sake of bringing awareness that this, that this is an unfortunate real thing that can happen and has happened. So going forward, I think between creators and their friends and supporters and community and what have you, I think we're going to have to look after each other much harder and much more closely, and never assume the best from someone else. If you have even the slightest doubt, that someone is trying to shame you or guilt you, or they don't really have your best interests at heart, it's time to cut that person off immediately. Stand up for yourself, or at least take the steps to start to move towards that. And we just need to now look out for each other now more than ever. That's all I got. Guys, be safe. Take care of yourselves. Love each other. I'll see all of you next time.